Condensed Bat-Supe in 30 seconds. The following podcast contains material originally broadcast in 1946 and includes historical language and portrayals of racism and intolerance. The story depicts a hate group and uses offensive language to represent their harmful ideology. We acknowledge that the language used in this episode may cause discomfort to listeners. The intent of this episode is to demonstrate the evils of racism and intolerance, and to highlight the importance of fighting against hatred in all forms. Listener discretion is advised.
The following is transcribed.
Welcome to Condensed Bat-Supe. Now with 66% fewer superheroes than our regular podcast, which makes Condensed Bat-Supe even less nutritious, but still just as delicious. We're featuring episodes of the adventures of Superman without the caped crusaders. Tie on your capes for lots of crusading journalism, plenty of rhyming words, and secret plans galore. In this edition of Condensed Bat-Supe, we proudly continue one of the most famous and consequential Superman stories of all time, with Chapter 7 of The Clan of the Fiery Cross, as originally broadcast on June 18th, 1946.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P, Pep. Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman. Today, the Daily Planet's attack on the Clan of the Fiery Cross has brought their vengeance down on Perry White, and the symbol of hatred burns again, this time at the door of the gray-haired editor.
Hello there, gang. This is your pal Dan McCullough. Say, you like to travel, don't you? Well, how about letting your imagination travel to Egypt tomorrow morning and have yourself a pep pyramid for breakfast? You know, that's this week's Pep Dish of the Week, named for the pyramids of Egypt and planned to give your appetite a real build-up. Here's how it goes. In the bottom of your bowl, pile up your serving of Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, in the shape of a pyramid. Then at the foot of your Pep pyramid, scatter some fruit, like juicy red raspberries. Add milk and sugar, and there's your Pep Pyramid, the newest way to show you what Kellogg's Pep can do for fresh, ripe fruit. How Pep Sunshine flavor does rise and shine. How that sunny, golden toasted goodness does tickle your taste. Why, Kellogg's Pep is so good, you'll be busy eating until you've finished off every last bit in your bowl. Which is the smart thing to do, especially nowadays when we're sending the cereal grains to fellows and girls overseas. Remember that when Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's. Don't waste it. If you pour your own Pep, pour it carefully and eat up every bit you pour out. That's important, gang. Eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
And now, the adventures of Superman. On the Clan of the Fiery Cross, a group of intolerant fanatics attacked a Chinese boy named Tommy Lee, star pitcher on Jimmy Olsen's Unity House baseball team. Only the prompt action of Superman saved the innocent boy's life. Furious, editor Perry White published a scathing editorial against the Klan in the Daily Planet and offered a $1,000 reward to anyone who could identify a single one of the robed and hooded bigots. That night, when White, Jimmy, and Clark Kent drove up to the editor's suburban home, they were startled to see a huge cross of fire burning on White's front lawn. Listen.
Great Scott. Look, Chief.
Oh, gee whiz.
A burning cross. That's the symbol of the Klan. It means those hate-mongers have selected you as their next victim, Chief.
Sleeping lizards, no, they can't.
Quick, we've got to call the fire department. Well, don't bother. Someone's already done that. Come on, Chief, pull out of their way. Well, good night. Good night, Mr. Pittman, and thanks for your offer, but we'll be all right.
Boy, I thought your neighbors would never leave, Chief.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah, hasn't this been an exciting half hour?
Yes, and frightening, too.
Frightening? Huh.
If this was meant to frighten me, it was a total waste of time.
Holy smokes, Chief. Don't you know what a burning cross means?
Why, sure I know. It's a warning for me to lay off the clan. But I'll be hanged if I'll knuckle under to a bunch of ignorant cowards who hide behind hoods and sheets.
These men are dangerous. Granted they're cowardly, they're still dangerous while they remain anonymous.
And how? But look, what I can't figure out, Mr. Kent, is why they're picking on Mr. White. He's no foreigner, and his skin's
The
not...
reason's obvious, Jim.
You mean it's because of my editorial telling of the rotten history of the clan and pointing out the un-American bigotry they stand for?
Exactly.
Well, they won't make me shut up. I'll keep after them until they're brought out into the open and...
Sure, I know you will, Chief, but you must take precautions. I can't watch over you every minute.
You?
I mean, we. That is, I'm sure Inspector Henderson will assign a couple of plainclothesmen, but even
Not
they...
to me, he won't. I'm not going to let those scoundrels think I'm scared of them.
Oh, but look, Chief.
I think Mr. Kent is right.
I don't care what you think, or Kent either. The clan is going to find out that I mean business, and that they can't scare me with their mumbo-jumbo and burning crosses.
But you
Now,
can't...
no more arguments. First, we'll have something to eat, and then we'll go to work. Pogo!
Say, that's strange. Poco isn't here, Chief.
Well, of course he's here. Pogo!
Oh, I tell you, he isn't here.
And I tell you he is. I talked to him just before we left the office. Told him to have some supper ready for us.
But...
Pogo! Where are you, you lazy beggar? He's not in the kitchen. Pogo!
Well, maybe he's in his room, Mr. White.
No, he isn't there either.
Oh, how do you know he isn't, Mr. Kent? You can't see from here.
Oh, no, well, I've just got a feeling he isn't.
Funny, he's not in his room either. And he didn't finish preparing supper. The stuff's spread all around the kitchen, and the refrigerator is open.
Hey, I don't like this.
Hey, maybe he got scared by the burning cross and went upstairs.
No, I tell you, he isn't...
Sure, that's probably what happened. He's probably under my bed scared to death. Come on, we'll go up and get him.
No, don't bother. He isn't upstairs, Chief.
Kent, are you trying to tell me that you can look through the ceiling like Superman?
No, but I tell you, he... Great Scott.
Huh?
Well, what's the matter?
The garage. Come on, follow me. See? There's Poco, Chief.
Where?
Over there, lying in the corner of the garage.
Jeepers. What's the matter with him? Poco.
I can't hear you, Jim. He's unconscious.
Unconscious?
Unconscious?
Poor little fellow.
What happened to him?
Wait, let's have a look. I'll turn him over.
Is he alive?
Yes, but...
Gosh, look at his face. All cut up and...
Good heavens. The poor chap must have been in an accident.
I don't think it was an accident, Chief. I think Poco was beaten up.
Beaten?
Oh, who'd want to beat up poor little Poco, Mr. Kent? Why, he never hurt a fly.
Tommy Lee and his father never hurt anyone either, Jim.
Tommy Lee and his father... You mean...
The Fiery Cross gang?
Yes. Unless I miss my guess, our friends in the hoods and sheets did this dirty piece of work.
The rats. The dirty rats.
Jim, you run ahead and get the first aid kit out, will you? I'll carry Poco into the house. Hurry. Take it easy now. Drink a little more water, Poco. Easy. There. How do you feel now?
Oh, woe is me. Such misery.
Do you hurt very much, Poco?
My body, Jim, is a mass of pain. I'm sure I'll never walk again.
Oh, you'll walk all right.
Why, yes, of course you will. Who did this to you, Poco?
Some terrible men who sneaked out of the night. Oh, dear. They gave me such a fright. Each wore a sheet and a hood over his head, like ghosts who came back from the dead.
They weren't ghosts, Poco. They were the clan of the Fiery
The
Cross.
scoundrels. Now, what happened, Poco? Why did they beat you up?
They were burning a cross upon our lawn. I was frightened, but I told them to be gone. They struck me down and kicked me, too. That's all I recall till I saw you. Except they said...
Why, the dirty...
Just a moment, Jim. What did they say, Poco?
I'm so hurt and so sore. I can hardly talk anymore.
Well, just try to tell us what they said, Poco.
They said, tell White we'll get him, too. Unless he lays off us in his newspaper.
Oh, said they'd get me, eh? Well, we'll see who gets whom. If they think they can shut me up by burning a cross on my lawn, by beating up poor Poco, well, just wait till they see the Daily Planet tomorrow.
Oh, you will. For midnight. What are you jumpy about, Frank? The latest story in the Daily Planet raising the reward for us to $5,000?
Yeah, that's a lot of dough, Will. Somebody might get tempted to take a chance and spill on us. And
Well, that's why I'm here. Matt Riggs says for you to be ready for action at 6 o'clock tonight. You got that?
Yeah. What's going to happen?
You'll find out tonight. Be ready for action at 6.
Glad you dropped in, Will. I want to ask you about the new story in the Planet about us. How did the White raise the reward to $5,000?
I know all about it, George. That's why I'm here. Matt Riggs says for you to be ready for action at 6 o'clock tonight.
At 6, huh? What are we going to do?
You'll find out tonight. Just be ready for action at 6 o'clock.
I'm glad you showed up, Will. Look, you tell Matt we got to do something about that lousy Daily Planet.
He's way ahead of you, Hank. We're going to take care of that tonight.
Yeah, that's what Matt said last night, but the Burning Cross didn't shut White's big mouth. He's raising such a fuss, every cop in Metropolis is looking for us.
We know, but don't worry. He won't raise any more fuss after tonight, Hank. I'll guarantee you that. You just be ready for action at 6 o'clock. This is going to be the works.
Going from one Klansman to another, Will Jennings, the mouthpiece for Matt Riggs, Grand Scorpion of the Clan of the Fiery Cross, gives the order to stand by for action tonight. What will happen? We'll know in just a moment, so stand by for the tense climax of today's episode.
You know, gang, if every home in the country could be wired for sound, you'd hear a big chorus of compliments come breakfast time from thousands and thousands of homes where Kellogg's Pep heads the menu. Sure, things like, gee, Mom, this is a nifty treat, or, boy, is this super, because Kellogg's Pep is that kind of a dish. You know, Pep is called the Sunshine cereal. It's loaded to the brim with sunshine flavor, a golden toasted flavor that gets your appetite wide awake in a jiffy. And Pep is crunchy, too, tender and crisp as can be. Not to mention the fact that Kellogg's Pep is good for you. Sure, gives you solid whole wheat nourishment plus. Yes, sir, that's how Pep stacks up. It's so delicious, you keep right on eating until you've polished off your bowl clean as a whistle. And you know, gang, it's extra important nowadays not to waste cereal, because the cereal grains have been picked out to help give good nourishment to fellows and girls all over the world. So when Mother brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's, make sure there's no waste at your house. Pass the word along to the rest of your family, too. It's the right idea to eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
At 6:15 that same evening, Daily Planet editor Perry White impatiently drums his fingers on the desk in his office, then rises to his feet.
Come on, Olson. We're going home.
Going home? But you promised to wait for Mr. Kent.
I know, but he said he'd be here at 6, and it's 6:15 now. Our editorial said for anyone wanting to give information about the Klan after 6 o'clock to call me at home, so we'd better get going. I don't want to risk missing a call.
Oh, but Mr. Kent said for you not to leave the office without him.
Mr. Kent said. Is he running this newspaper, or am I?
Well, you are, I guess, but
You guess?
Well, sure, of course you are. But Mr. Kent said you were in danger and not to leave until he got here. He said he might be a little later than 6, but he said
if you don't stop that he said stuff,
Oh, now, look, Chief.
Quiet. What do you and Kent think I am, a babe in arms?
No, but...
Nothing. Klan wouldn't dare lay a finger on me. They were just trying to scare me into turning off the heat on them.
I don't know about that. I think...
Well, I do know. I'll get your hat and come along.
I tell you, Mr. Kent's going to be awful sore when he gets to the planet and finds you gone, Mr. White.
Yeah, I'm shuddering in my boots. Do you think he'll fire me?
I don't think it's any joking matter. Those Fiery Cross Clan guys are bad actors.
What's that fool blowing his horn for?
I don't know. Maybe you better pull over, Mr. White. Looks like he wants to pass us.
Well, let him. I'm doing 35. That's the legal speed limit on this highway. I'm on my side of the road.
Here he comes.
Hey, get over there. What are you trying to do?
It's a truck.
I don't care what it is. He's crowding us off the road. Hey, watch out.
Look out, Mr. White. You're going off the road. Oh, that was too close.
That stupid truck driver deliberately crowded us off the road, almost sent us into the ditch. Believe me, I'll tell him a thing or two.
Hey, wait, Chief. Look.
I'm waiting for nothing. I'm going to...
Holy smokes. Look. Those men jumping out of the truck. They're wearing sheets and hoods.
Good Godfrey. They're the Clan of the Fiery Cross.
Their blood suddenly running cold, Jimmy Olsen and Perry White sit rigidly in their car as some 20 robed and hooded men leap from the truck and run threateningly toward them. What will happen to gray-haired Editor White and his young reporter, with Superman unaware that they are now trapped by the hate-mongering bigots of the Clan of the Fiery Cross? There's much excitement ahead, so don't miss tomorrow's thrilling episode, gang. Tune in, same time, same station.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep.
For excitement, the adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC comic magazines and is brought to you Monday through Friday at the same time by Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine cereal. Say, if you want your dog to tag right along with the gang, if you want him to be strong and husky, don't let him eat just to fill up. Mix his scraps of meat and fat in with Kellogg's Grow Pup dog food. Then just see if you don't get congratulations on what a fine dog you have. Grow Pup has what it takes to help keep a dog hitting on all fours, and it's full of swell, meaty flavor dogs like. Besides, there are 3 different kinds of Grow Pup. Grow Pup Ribbon, Grow Pup Meal, and Grow Pup Pellets. Ask Mother to start feeding your dog Kellogg's Grow Pup today. And be sure to be with us tomorrow for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
And now, faster than a speeding bullet. Condensed Bat-Supe proudly presents Chapter 8 of The Clan of the Fiery Cross, which was originally broadcast on June 19th, 1946.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P, Pep. Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman. Today, with Clark Kent's admonition to remain at the Daily Planet gone unheeded, Perry White and Jimmy Olsen have fallen into the hands of enemies, the hooded mobsters of the Clan of the Fiery Cross.
Hello there, gang. This is your pal Dan McCullough. Say, if you want a breakfast treat that is a treat, latch onto a dish of Kellogg's Pep tomorrow morning. There's a dish that'll make your appetite sit up and take notice, believe me. Each tender whole wheat flake is crisp and golden. Good as gold to taste, too. Why, Kellogg's Pep is called the Sunshine Cereal. It's loaded to the brim with sunshine flavor, a breezy sort of flavor that brings every spoonful right back for another. And just ask Mom about how Kellogg's Pep stacks up for nutrition. She knows you get solid whole wheat nourishment and more. Add it all up, gang, and you'll get a big total of reasons why Kellogg's Pep will make a real hit with you. See if you don't go for Pep in such a big way that almost before you know it, you've finished off every last spoonful in your bowl, which is a particularly smart idea nowadays when we're sending the cereal grains to help give good nourishment to fellows and girls across the seas. Nobody wants to waste cereal. So when Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's, make sure that you pour it out carefully and eat up every bit you pour out. Get the right habit, gang. Eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
Now, the adventures of Superman. When Tommy Lee, spectacular boy pitcher and star player on Jim Olsen's Unity House baseball team, was brutally attacked by the hate-mongering Clan of the Fiery Cross because he's Chinese, Editor Perry White printed a blistering editorial against the cowardly hooded band, whose un-American credo is one race, one religion, one color. White's editorial was accompanied by an offer of $1,000 to whomever would reveal the identity of a Klansman. That night, a fiery cross was planted on White's lawn as a warning. Furious and far from intimidated, White published another editorial attack against the fanatical bigotry of the hooded Klan, raising his offer to $5,000 for identification of its membership. Ignoring Kent's admonition to stay in the office until his return, White and Jim Olsen drove off to the editor's suburban home. En route, they are forced to stop by a large truck, which, as our story continues now, is disgorging some 20 men, all garbed in long sheets and slitted hoods, who mutter angrily as they rush toward White and Jim.
Holy smokes. Look, Chief,
There's the Clan of the Fiery Cross.
Come on, boys. You know what to do.
You bet we do.
quick, Chief. Stop the car. Maybe we can get away.
No, Jim, it's too late. Take your hands off me, you.
Hey, let go.
Let go.
Let him have it, Joe. Good work.
Why, you dirty rat, just let me get my hands
Look
on
at
you.
him, too, Joe. Fast.
No.
Nice going. All right, boys. Pick him up and toss him into the truck. Mike, you drive their car. Follow us. Let's go.
Throwing the unconscious Jimmy Olsen and Perry White into their truck, the robed and hooded Klansmen leap in after them, and a moment later roar away. Meanwhile, in his guise of Clark Kent, Superman has returned to the Daily Planet. Failing to find White and Jimmy, he has entered Lois Lane's office where the girl reporter is typing a story.
Listen, Lois, did you see
Just a moment, Clark. I'm finishing a story on Dr. Lee.
What? You know, Tommy Lee's father.
All right, that's fine, but will you please stop typing a moment and listen to me? This is important.
Okay. There. Now, what's on your mind?
Have you seen the Chief and Jimmy?
Yes, I saw them about, half an hour ago when I got back to the office. They were just leaving.
Leaving? For where?
For the Chief's house. Why?
Oh, of all the stubborn... I told him not to leave the office without me.
You told whom?
The Chief. Do you mind if I use your phone?
Well, of course not. Look, what's all the excitement about?
What do you mean? Don't you know about the cross being burned on the Chief's lawn last night? And Poco getting beaten up?
Of course I know about it, but has something else happened now?
I don't know. I hope not.
You hope not? Clark, I wish you'd explain. What's eating you?
I'm worried about the Chief, Lois. That fiery cross was the Klan's warning to him to stop attacking them in the Daily Planet or else. You know that, don't you?
Oh, sure, but they were just bluffing.
Bluffing?
Well, you know they wouldn't dare do anything to an important man like the editor of the Daily Planet.
Oh, that's what you think. Oh, why doesn't somebody answer?
Who are you calling?
Mr. White's house.
Well, poor Poco can't answer. He's in bed, under a doctor's care.
Oh, I know, but the nurse, Miss Adams, is there. Oh, wait a minute. Here she is now. Hello, Miss Adams. This is Clark Kent. Yes, did Mr. White and Jim Olsen get there yet? They didn't. Well, Yes, I know you're expecting them. Well, look, will you ask Mr. White to phone me the moment he comes in, please? I'm at the office. That's right, at the Daily Planet. Thank you. Goodbye.
Not home yet?
That worries me. Say they left a half hour ago, Lois?
Well, about that.
They should be home because it doesn't take much more than half an hour to drive out there.
Now, stop worrying, Clark. For heaven's sake.
I can't when I think of the Clan of the Fiery Cross and what they do.
Oh, stop it, Clark. You know those cowards attack people who can't defend themselves and whom they think they can scare into silence, like little Tommy Lee and his father. Why, they wouldn't dare attack Perry White.
Well, ordinarily you'd be right, Lois. But they can't afford to have a big paper like the Planet blasting them and offering $5,000 rewards for information about them.
Well,
they've got to shut up the Chief or stop their dirty work.
I think they wouldn't dare touch him.
And I tell you, they're wrong. I'll wait another 10 minutes. If the Chief isn't home by then, I'm going out to look for him.
For heaven's sake, who are you calling now, Clark?
White's house. The 10 minutes are up.
Goodness, I never knew you were such a worrier.
Look, I've had too much experience with these fanatical hate-mongers not to worry, Lois. Oh, hello, Miss Adams. This is Clark Kent again. Did Mr. White and Jim Olsen get there yet? Oh, they haven't. Well, did you hear from them at all? I see. No other message. All right, thank you. Goodbye.
Still not home?
No. I'll see you later, Lois.
Wait a minute. Where are you going?
Look for the Chief and Jimmy. I've got a hunch they're in trouble.
Now you've got me worried. I'll go with you.
No, I can work faster alone.
Don't be silly. How can you?
You'd be surprised. So long.
Hurrying to the deserted storeroom, Kent strips off his business suit, revealing the blue costume and red cape of Superman. Swiftly, he opens the window. Out, up, and away! Like an arrow shot from a giant bow, Superman flashes away from the Daily Planet, rocketing above the highway leading to Editor White's suburban home. A moment later, he is hovering above White's house, sees his friends are not there, and returns to scour the highway and the nearby countryside again. Later, more worried than ever, he has resumed his guise of Clark Kent and is in the office of Inspector Henderson at Metropolis Police Headquarters.
You say you've checked with the highway police, Inspector?
Yes, and with all the hospitals. There's been no report of anything happening to Mr. White and Jim, or of anyone seeing them after they left the Planet this evening.
Well, then I'm positive the Clan of the Fiery Cross is behind their disappearance. You've got to track them down.
Now, wait a minute, Kent. The Klansmen are bad actors, but they pick on little people. They only try to frighten the big ones.
They tried to frighten Mr. White, and it didn't work, so they had to go farther. They knew if they didn't silence him, he'd silence them eventually.
Yes,
believe me, Inspector, I know what I'm talking about. Now, we've got to work fast. We may never see Mr. White and Jimmy again. We've got to track down that Klan.
Yeah, well, how are we going to do that? We don't even know who those devils are.
All right, we've got to find out. Now, look, that boy who called me the other night to tell me the Klan was going to tar and feather Tommy Lee, he knows who the Klansmen are. Now, if we can find him,
Sure, if. I've had all phone exchanges trying to trace that call, and my men are asking questions everywhere, but it's no soap. Trouble is, we haven't got a description of the boy.
I know.
Oh, just a minute. That's my phone. Hello? Oh, yes, Haley. What? You have, huh? Oh, that's fine. Well, where are you? 3rd and Main? Right. We'll be right out. That was Healy, Kent.
Yes?
He's picked up a boy he thinks might be the one who phoned you the other night.
Wonderful. Let's go. We'll return in a moment for the tense climax of today's episode. So stand by.
Say, gang, you probably remember from school about the pyramids, one of the wonders of ancient Egypt. Well, this week, we've dressed up a pyramid into a wonder of a breakfast dish. It's a pep pyramid, this week's pep dish of the week. Try it tomorrow and see if it doesn't make history with your morning appetite. First, pile your serving of Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine cereal, in your bowl in the shape of a pyramid. Around the base, scatter juicy red raspberries or some other fruit. Top with milk and sugar. And that's it, gang. A Pep Pyramid. A breakfast combination that stars Kellogg's Pep and its sunshine flavor. Yes, sir, that sunny golden toasted flavor sure does rise and shine. Pep's tender crispness sure does a thing or two for your appetite, too. Fact is, Kellogg's Pep is always so terrific, you keep right on eating down to the last full wheat flake in your bowl. And you know, that's the hep thing to do, particularly nowadays when the cereal grains are being sent to fellows and girls overseas. So, gang, when Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's, make sure there's no waste at your house. If you pour your own Pep, pour it carefully and finish off every bit you pour out. Remember, eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
Clark Kent and Inspector Henderson have just arrived at 3rd and Main Streets, where Sergeant Healy reported picking up a boy who might be the mysterious youngster who had telephoned Kent the night the clan of the Fiery Cross attacked young Tommy Lee.
Where's the boy, Healy?
I let him go, Inspector.
What? You let him go?
Yeah, I called you back, but you'd already left. This kid was acting suspiciously 2 nights ago when the Lee boy was grabbed by the clan. Also, we made a phone call from a pool room to someone, he wouldn't say who, about the time Mr. Kent got the call.
Yeah?
But when I checked back on my notes, I saw where Mr. Kent had said the kid who phoned him didn't have any accent.
No, he didn't.
Well, this kid had a southern accent.
Uh-oh. Well, it might have been a phony one.
It wasn't. I made sure. I checked with people around here who knew him and his folks. Up in the south, all right.
Well, I guess that's that, Kent.
Not on your life, Inspector. We've still got to find a lead to the clan because I'm sure they've got Jim and Mr. White. And I'm afraid that unless we get to them quickly, it'll be too late.
Clark Kent's fear is well-founded, for at this moment in the clan's hideout high in the craggy hills above Metropolis, Jimmy and White sit in a small, dark cave, their hands bound tightly behind them with wire. Outside the cave entrance, 2 ghostly figures in robes and hoods keep watch. Other hooded figures stand guard elsewhere in the moonlit glade.
What do you think's going to happen to us, Mr. White?
Nothing, Jim. Not a thing. They wouldn't dare do anything to us.
That's what you said last night, after they burned the cross on your lawn.
No, they're just bluffing now, trying to scare us.
You can't kid me. You don't believe that any more than I do. You know these guys mean business.
Rubbish. Sheer nonsensical rubbish.
Oh, yeah? I got a feeling we're in for the works. I heard one of the guys say their Grand Scorpion was coming up here tonight, and it was going to be just too bad for us.
And I say it'll be too bad for him and for all of his dirty gang if they so much as lay a finger on us.
Hold it, Chief. Here comes one of the rats.
Well, let him come. I'll tell him a thing or two.
All right, White. Olson, up on your feet.
Now, look here, you.
Shut up and do as you're told.
Why, you...
Chief, please.
Well, the idea
Grand
of
Scorpion wants to see you. Follow me.
The who?
You heard me. The Grand Scorpion of the clan
Not
of...
Grand Baloney. Now, you listen to me. If you know what's good for you,
Look,
you'll...
White. If you know what's good for you, you'll shut your face and do as you're told. We don't aim to take any more from you. You understand? Now, come on. Move.
Shoved roughly from the cave, Jim Olsen and Perry White follow the hooded ruffian across the moonlit glade to a secluded spot where Matt Riggs, the cold-eyed leader of the clan of the Fiery Cross, awaits them. What will happen? Tomorrow's episode is tense with action and drama, so don't miss it. Tune in, same time, same station.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep.
For excitement, the adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC comic magazines and is brought to you Monday through Friday at the same time by Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine cereal. Say, how about being a pal to your dog like he is to you? Do him a good turn. Treat him to Kellogg's Grow Pup dog food. Why, it beats all how many dogs give Grope Up the glad eye. It's so full of meaty flavor. And there are 3 different kinds to pick from. There's Grope Up Ribbon, Grope Up Meal, and Grope Up Pellets. You can give your dog the kind he likes best because they all have what it takes to help keep him right on the beam. For lots of muscle, for strong bones and teeth, ask Mother to base your dog's diet on Kellogg's Grope Up every day. And be sure to be with us tomorrow for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
It's time for a Condensed Bat-Supe Extra Helping, because truth, justice, and the American way begins with truth. Sometimes a well-publicized lie can get people hurt, maybe even killed, as Randy Stone learns the hard way when he's targeted by a less-than-ethical journalist in Target for a Week from Night Beat, as originally broadcast on May 22nd, 1952.
NBC presents, transcribed, Frank Lovejoy in Night Beat.
Hi, this is Randy Stone. I cover the Night Beat for the Chicago Star. There's a certain party around town by the name of Panagen. He slugs out an acid column for Pierce's Gazette based on semi-truth, crumbs of political gossip, and backstage hearsay. All of it liberally spiced with sly comments on female anatomy. His major pitch is what he calls his Target of the Week, in which some unfortunate citizen gets a 6-day mud bath. As a result, those broken in Panagen's column are beyond count. Well, last week, the color of his ink hit home, and hard. Believe me, friends, it's something of a shock to pick up the opposition paper, only to read that you're a killer. I was pounding out the final paragraph a few hours from deadline when a copy boy burst into the city room and told me my boss man, Joe Phillips, wanted to see me quick. I walked up a flight of stairs, down a hall of frosted glass doors, to one marked Night Editor. Phillips was leaning over his desk, his heavy brows squeezed into a familiar frown. The minute I came in, he picked up a clipping from the Pierce's Gazette and bade me take a chair.
Sit down, Randy.
Pleasure. What's up?
You won't believe this. Even after you read it, you won't believe it.
Well, let's hear it.
Hold on to your seat. No surprise is the rumor that Randy Stone, Chicago Star newsman, triggered Harry the Slicker Borenson.
What?
There's more, Randy. It is said in the more authoritative circles here that the boys in blue rigged a confession from ex-con Johnny Liggett to protect the Star's fair name. With Liggett due for electrocution tomorrow at 12:01, wouldn't you say, Governor, that something should be done about this? The end.
Let me see that.
In black and white.
Triggered Harry the Slicker Borenson. This must be a gag.
You can buy that gag at any newsstand.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
I feel like somebody just smacked me in the basket.
You look green, all right.
Well, what's the answer?
Nearest I can figure, Randy, it's that series you did on Borenson about 6 months ago.
4-time loser?
That was the title.
Oh, no, Phillips.
You got any better ideas? That's your only connection with Borenson?
Oh, this thing was picked straight out of the air. Why, I don't know. I never had a run-in with Pierce's Gazette. Of all the 4 million people in the city, why me?
Maybe because you work for the Star, the Gazette's stiffest competition.
But it's such an obvious lie, Phillips. How can they hope to get away with it? Liggett was convicted of Borenson's murder. 1, 2, 3. The jury was out 30 minutes. What about proof?
Panagen never let facts stand in his way. Whatever he gets into his head would be good for circulation. That's what he writes. That's why George Pierce keeps him on. He wants to get the Star in a big feud, so Chicago will start talking about it and boost the Gazette up to our level. Well, we're not playing.
You mean you're letting this go without a fight, not a word of denial?
We can't get sucked into this thing, Randy.
Now, wait a minute. This isn't just a personal matter between Panagen and me. The Star is in it neck deep.
Look, Randy, I know how you feel, but everything we print, good or bad, means a big plug for Pierce's Gazette.
Well, make me a bargain, Phillips. If I dig up the Panagen story with facts, documented, authentic, if I bring you the whole story, will you print it?
What kind of story?
I don't know. Maybe that Panagen and his big boss, George Pierce, are covering for somebody. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. I wouldn't put it past them.
Well, what do you say?
Well, if the story's really hot, okay.
Thanks.
Where you going?
I'm not about to laugh this off, Phillips.
Randy, now, look, take it easy. Don't get yourself into trouble.
In trouble? Listen, from now on, Panagen's my target of the year. I'm making him a cause. I'll write that disease out of this town if I have to use handbills. But frankly, I didn't feel much like brandishing the golden sword. I felt weak and sick, and I couldn't think. I went outside into the biting wind, hoping it would beat the nightmare out of my head. But the terror had taken hold, and it wouldn't let go. It was the giant power of the lie, issued in the loud voice of sound authority, amplified by the press. That's the way to take the truth down to size. Let the public cry for blood just so you sell papers. Well, I walked, and all the time a line kept singing its way through me, a line I used to chant to the other 6-year-olds when I was a kid. Sticks and stones can break my bones, but names can never hurt me. That's a kid's line, strictly. All of which brought me to my favorite bar on LaSalle Street. Chet, the barkeep, demonstrated some awfully odd behavior. Hi, Chet.
Evening, Mr. Stone.
What's the matter with you?
Nothing the matter. What?
What are you staring at?
No, I'm not staring. I'm just going to wipe this glass.
Come on, Chet, boy, out with it. What's the angle here? Something wrong with my patronage?
No, of course not, Mr. Stone.
I'm not going to shake the cash drawer.
That's pretty good.
Come on, speak up, friend. What's the beef?
Look, Mr. Stone, I want you to know, I don't believe a word of it.
The Panagen piece?
I told Mike, the other bartender. I told him you didn't even know Borenson. How could you have anything to do with the killing?
Well, you were wrong, Chet. I did know him.
You did?
Yeah. All right. What's the talk?
Well, Mr. Stone, you know how it is. People, they read something, they believe what they read. They figure anything's in the paper's got to be right, Then lots of them. Liggett's confession to Borenson's murder, they figure it was cut and dried.
Fixed, huh?
Yeah, and that cheap publicity gag the Gazette has. You see what they do? They keep Panagen's real identity hidden, see? It's a big secret, see? So that none of the people he talks about get revenge on him. It's freedom of expression. That's what the papers call it.
Freedom of expression, yeah.
What am I telling you for? You know the story. But just a tip, Mr. Stone. This thing is pretty hot. You know how people are. They get all upset. They all want to be knights of the round table or something. Look, I'd be kind of careful if I was you. If I was you, I'd go home. You never know with people, Mr. Stone.
Oh. Well, I might do that, Chet. After I take care of a little business. What's the tab? My business concerned the owner and publisher of Pierce's Gazette. I went to George Pierce's residence. I was told by a rather worried wife that the eminent publisher hadn't been home in 24 hours. She gave me the name of his favorite hangout, which I guess she was too proud to phone, and asked me if I found him, would I please tell him to come home. I said I would. He was there, all right. George Pierce, executive in the blue light of a cheap tavern, pumping his royal bloatedness full of sherry, flushed and sweating in a tight tuxedo. I sat down uninvited between him and the jowly blonde, thus killing the punchline of a very old story.
What are you talking about? That was your change.
Who are you?
Randy Stone. You remember me.
Yeah, Chicago Stars, the worst paper in the country. So sit down.
I'm already sat.
Yes, so you are. I'm sorry. This is Miss Leroy, Jasmine Leroy, a songstress.
How are you?
She's a singer. She doesn't talk. Besides, she's a little under the weather, aren't you, honey? Well, Stone, you all straight with the police? You confess yet?
Where can I find this Panagen?
Panagen is my little secret, Stone.
Well, then you tell him that I want a big column in tomorrow's edition calling himself a liar.
Why don't you take the matter to the courts?
Oh, you'd like that.
Oh, you're making me sick. On your way, killer.
Oh, I'm gonna love this.
Let go, you crazy fool. What's the matter with you?
My apologies, lady. When he gets up, tell him his wife wants him to come home. I'm no lover of the quick punch, but I'll admit it, I walked out of there feeling singularly better. A solid left for myself and a few thousand other neighbormen who still believe the morning bundle of print was created for facts, honest comment, and the funnies. It was almost morning. I went home. I pulled up a chair, propped my feet up on the windowsill, and stared out at Chicago at dawn. A swirl of soft snow circled the black pavement. A kid in corduroy knickers went by, bucking the wind, a bunch of papers under his arm. Peddling what? The news of the world or a pack of lies? I was so lost in the question I hardly noticed the shadow move over the carpet, the saccharine fumes of cheap cologne. Then she came into the light. White cheeks spotted with rouge, penciled eyebrows, too young for the makeup. But the gun in her fist was steady. You could tell the feel of it wasn't new to her. Yeah, she was an old hand. How long have you been here?
I thought you'd never get back.
I worked nights.
You know me?
Pauline Liggett.
I didn't think you'd remember.
The time I interviewed you and your husband.
You asked me all kinds of questions about what kind of a life do we live. I said we lived a nice kind of life before Johnny. He's going to die tomorrow. You know that, don't you?
I know.
You know he was framed, don't you?
That wasn't the jury's opinion.
It's any kind of evidence the police want. They can cook it up like that.
Including the bullet in Borenson's brain?
Don't move. Yeah. Bullets. Anything. They can cook it up.
How about the confession? They cooked that up, too?
They tortured him to get that confession. He has marks on his arms, on his back.
Who told you all this?
I saw the marks.
You think the police put them there?
Who else would do a thing like that?
The police didn't have to, Pauline. The evidence was all there. If there were marks, he put them there himself. For sympathy.
I knew that's what you'd say. I knew it. I expected exactly that.
So Johnny Liggett was framed?
Because he's got a record. The police hate him.
How did he get a record?
5 years he served at Joliet. You know why? He went to prison to help his brother. His brother stole a lot of money, and Johnny went to prison so his brother wouldn't have to.
That's touching. And the 2 years in Leavenworth. Johnny served that for his brother, too?
Listen, once they start framing you, just like Johnny says, you're the patsy from there on in. They always put the finger on you. You haven't got a chance.
Why don't you tell the governor about all this reserve honesty?
The lawyer's taking care of all that.
Mm-hmm. Now, what's the gun for?
I went down to the jail and I saw him. I asked him, I said, Johnny, now you tell me the truth. Did you do it, Johnny? And he looked at me and he said, no, Pauline, I swear to you. He said, I never done a thing like that. It's like everything else, he said, a frame.
Pauline, use your head. Why would I kill Borenson?
I don't know why you killed him. How should I know? Maybe over some kind of deal you had with him. Money, maybe, or a girl, maybe. But this Mr. Pierce and this guy Panagen that writes for him, they're for the little guy, always for the little guy, like Johnny.
You want to believe that story awful bad, don't you, Pauline?
It's true. The whole thing is true.
Sure, it bucks the evidence, all the logic. But it's true. Yeah, I'll bet it looks real fine all printed up. When they put it up in black and white and charge people money to read it, it sounds like a lot of truth, doesn't it?
Like the state's attorney. You talk good, Mr. Stowe. Johnny's going to die tomorrow night. An awful lot of me is going to die with him. But you aren't going to have a chance to sit back and laugh. At 12:01, they killed Johnny. At 12:01, I kill you.
And now, back to Night Beat and Randy Stone.
At 12:01, Johnny Liggett would die in the electric chair. At 12:01, according to his wife's schedule, I'd join her husband in death. The clock. Her gun. 11:30 p.m. 31 minutes to Johnny Liggett's death. And mine. Pauline's face was set, her jaw tight. All I could see was hate.
What time is it?
11:32. Hungry?
No.
You want me to...
Shut up.
I've got some cheese in the icebox.
I don't want any.
You think killing me is going to help him?
You did your talking, now shut up.
You should be trying to help him.
I'm not going to tell you again.
Was he good to you?
Always good to him.
Ever ask him where he got his money?
He worked.
Where? Where did he work?
All kinds of jobs.
You've handled a gun before.
We used to go out to the Indiana dunes.
You and Johnny?
Target practice.
Mm-hmm.
Cheese, huh?
It's a week old.
Get up. Go on. No tricks. I'm good with this.
No tricks.
Open the icebox.
Open the icebox.
Give it to me. No, leave it where it is. I'll get it. Get away from the door. Go on. American cheese.
That's right.
Dried out.
A week old, like I said.
Poison, maybe. A killer like you.
Maybe.
I'll take my chances. No bread?
Just cheese.
Go on back. Sit down. What time is it?
11:33. And a half.
Goes slow, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Slow. Yeah. But it keeps going. Well, you're going to look at that clock every minute and tell me what time it is, just like Johnny, watching the clock.
Maybe he's just playing cards.
Hey, what's it like?
What's what like?
Does it hurt?
Well, nobody knows. Maybe they never feel a thing. Maybe there's one split second when they... Nobody knows.
They shave the head.
Yeah.
Will they do that to Johnny?
Mind if we drop the subject?
I want you to live through the whole thing like he's doing. You ever been to an electrocution?
I've been to one, yes.
You know about it, then?
I know all about it. You're sick, Pauline.
Listen, you've said everything you're going to say. You talked yourself blue all morning, all afternoon. Now shut up. Just shut up.
You want them to do the same thing to you they're going to do to Johnny?
Listen
do
now.
You?
You asked me that. Shut up. What time is it?
11:34 and a half.
Keep watching that clock. The chaplain's with him now.
Probably.
Reading. What can they read to him?
The 23rd Psalm. It helps.
I'm not going to cry. He never liked it when I cried. The
Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley in the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. The papers are out. Panagin's column. Don't you want to read it?
I'll read it. After.
As a last request.
No.
Even Johnny will get a last request. The boy is coming back. The other side of the street.
No sale.
Maybe a pardon.
Not in a million years.
You never can tell. Call out the window before he goes away.
Don't move. I got my eye on you every second. Boy! Paper here.
I've got change.
Don't move, I said. Apartment 3.
Be right up, lady.
One word. One word and I'll do it. When he comes to the door, you just sit there, because I don't care, Mr. Stone. It's nothing to me what happens. If he sees me do it or if he doesn't.
You're shaking.
What time is it?
11:37.
11:37.
You think you're the perfect woman, don't you, Pauline?
What?
A guy sheds all his sins just because you love him.
He's not perfect, but he's not a killer.
Grow up, Pauline. Your husband took a gun and shot a man. You were at the trial.
I heard all the lies, mister. Now shut up. Johnny was an innocent man.
Present tense, Pauline. He's still alive.
That's right. He's still alive. Not a word.
Paper, ma'am?
Here you are.
Thank you. Let's see what Panagen has to say. I like to read my own publicity.
I'll do the reading. Panagen's notebook.
Let's hear it.
I can read and watch you, too.
Read it.
A few hours from now, Johnny Liggett, convicted of the murder of Harold Borenson 2 months ago, will die in the electric chair on California Avenue.
Go on.
I visited the condemned man in his cell today. He told me he wants everyone to know he did not kill Harold Borenson. I am an innocent man, he said. He said he holds no grudge against the man who did the killing. He'll be punished, Liggett said, but I forgive him.
Is that all Panagen has to say?
Liggett asked me to take care of his wife, Pauline. I haven't been a good husband to her. I wish I'd told her about the other woman a long time ago. Other woman.
Last minute confession.
Another woman. It's a lie. It's a dirty lie.
Panagen? Panagen never lies, Pauline.
Johnny always said to me there never was anybody but you, Pauline. He always said that.
You better make up your mind, Pauline.
What?
If Panagen's a liar.
Other woman.
If Johnny went with another woman, Panagen's telling the truth. If he didn't, Panagen's a liar.
He's a liar.
If he's a liar, Pauline, then he lied about a lot of
He's a
things.
liar. Johnny wouldn't do that to me.
Give me the gun,
No,
Pauline.
stay away. Stay away from me. Don't you come near me. Stay away.
Listen to me,
Don't you
Pauline.
talk to me. I don't want you talking to me.
The whole city knows about it now. The city knows all about the way he cheated on you. They're sorry for you. They're all saying, isn't it a shame she has to find out just before her husband dies in the electric chair that he was cheating on her all the time? Just because somebody printed a lie.
He loved me. Johnny loved me.
You're right, Pauline. He loved you very much.
He couldn't do a thing like that when he loved me so much.
Sure, he loved you that much. And a man who loved you that much couldn't do that to
He
you.
couldn't have been seeing another woman. It's a dirty lie.
Everything's a lie, Pauline. Everything they said. They lied about both of us. Now, give me that gun.
You come with me.
Where are you going?
You come with me.
Now, wait a minute.
Liars! They make me so ashamed. Dirty liars.
She wasn't sane anymore. The truth and the lie, reality and the dream were mud in her mind. Her eyes gleamed shame, anger, hate, all melted into madness. She forced me out into the car at the curb. In talking myself out of my own killing, I talked her into another. Our destination? The home of Panagen's boss, George Pierce. It was 11:55 when we reached Pierce's residence. He answered the door, blinking into the darkness, his tiny eyes buried in sleek, puffy flesh. His bulk was wrapped in a silk dressing gown, his feet in carpet slippers. He was scratching himself.
Yes, who is this?
Get inside. Hurry up.
She's got a gun, George.
Stone. Now listen
Get
here.
inside. He's right. I've got a gun.
Pauline, listen to me.
Inside.
This is Liggett, that
Dirty liar.
liar.
Your paper.
What's the trouble, Mrs. Liggett?
Another woman.
Now, listen, Mrs. Liggett, maybe just for human interest, Panagen might have said something that wasn't...
Human interest?
Look, why don't we go into the library and have a drink? You look like you could use the drink, Mrs. Liggett.
He's going to die tonight. He's going to die, and all you care about is human interest. You write things like that about him, making off like I wasn't a good wife. Nobody ever loved anybody like Johnny loved me, Mr. Pierce. Nobody.
We'll print a full retraction, Mrs. Liggett.
I know about Panagen, too. There is no Panagen. Everything that goes into that column is yours, Mr. Pierce. Every dirty line of it.
Now, Mrs. Liggett...
You're Panagen, aren't you?
Mrs. Liggett, please.
You're the liar, aren't you?
No, Mrs. Liggett, I didn't even see the
dirty liar!
You better give me that. Okay, Pauline, he's dead. You got what you came for.
What time is it?
12 o'clock. Confessed killer Liggett died in the chair last night, and his wife will be tried for murder. Her attorneys will plead that she didn't know right from wrong or true from false. I wouldn't be surprised if the court went along with them. But by the same token, would you pass the test? How good are you at telling the lie from the truth? Does the truth vary according to your personal convenience? Black one day, white the next? The next time you read anything, ask yourself, I have the right to doubt. Am I using it? Because it's too dangerous living in a world of misinformed people. There's a reason why the lie is the tyrant's favorite death weapon. It's killed more people since the world began than all the armies and the automobiles put together. Copy, boy.
Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy, is produced and directed by Warren Lewis. Tonight's transcribed story was written by David Ellis, with music by Robert Armbruster. The part of Pauline was played by Joan Banks. Others featured were Bill Conrad, Peter Leeds, and Lou Krugman. Listen next week at this time and every week as Randy Stone searches through the city for the strange stories waiting for him in the darkness.
Well, that'll wrap up this episode of Condensed Bat-Supe, featuring more from the Clan of the Fiery Cross from the Adventures of Superman. Thanks for listening. Be sure to tell your friends to subscribe to Bat-Supe on their favorite podcatcher. We can also be found on YouTube and Facebook. We'll see you next time for another exciting edition of Condensed Bat-Supe as we continue with the story of the Clan of the Fiery Cross and bring you another fine extra helping. Until then, up,
Are you able to brush your own teeth? Not everyone can. Not a man whose arms have been crippled by polio. There are thousands of disabled polio survivors who must depend on someone else to help them perform the simplest, most personal acts. With your help, many polio victims can learn how to be independent. Right now, there are 100,000 survivors of crippling polio who need help. They need your dimes and dollars to pay for expensive care and equipment. Your contributions will provide trained hands to teach a polio survivor how to live with his disability. Thanks to you, a polio-scarred life will once again seem worth living. Remember, your generosity is the one hope of thousands for whom Salk vaccine came too late. Join the 1958 March of Dimes. Won't you right now send your dimes and dollars to your local March of Dimes headquarters?